Hi. Oh, I didn't turn my music off. Okay, so we are on Russia. Ivan the Fourth, Russia. Up to this point, Russia has been kind of creating itself as like a full-blown power, okay? Like a real kingdom. Because they started out like I'm trying to reach my thing. Like they started out, like a whole bunch of tribes called the Rus, and they've been just creating their kingdom. Okay. Well, in the 1500s, we have a big deal king. His name is Ivan the Fourth. Ivan the Fourth. Okay. Little Ivan becomes king when he is 3 years old. Three. Can you like stop and imagine a 3-year-old being king? That's horrifying. Bless their hearts, they don't know how to rule. We've already talked about this a little bit, but if you're a little kid who becomes king, you have to have a regent, somebody who rules for you until you're old enough and they teach you how to rule. Okay? Well, doing that, as they're doing that, they're teaching you how to rule. You're supposed to start making some decisions as a kid. Okay? It's like having a mentor. Most of the time, the regent is going to be like the highest noble or like a parent, like a mom. Okay. Yes, mothers were allowed. My hair's kind of sticking up. Sometimes the church, cardinals will do it. In this case, the nobles in Russia have a brilliant idea. The idea is we're all going to do it. That's like the worst idea ever. People can't agree on what they like with government. So now imagine all of these different nobles telling a child, okay, pass this law. And then a noble comes in and says, oh, that law, that noble, don't pass his stuff. He's bad. And then another noble comes in and they're like, oh, don't listen to that guy. Do my law. Ivan is being totally controlled, totally manipulated by all of these different nobles. Okay. And he's smart enough to know it. When he's 16 years old, 16? Do you know any 16-year-olds? You? No way. Yeah, guys, he's your age. Okay. When he's 16 years old, he's like, okay, I've had enough of this crap. And he says, listen here, guys. I was chosen to be king. No, I was chosen to be Tsar of Russia. Not you. God chose me. He made me my father's son, not you. God chose me because he wants me, not you. And if you guys don't leave me alone and let me rule, I'll kill you. And he does. He doesn't kill all of them, but some of the big, no, you can't be king, blah, 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 blah. Some of the big loudmouths, he's like, nah, dead. And he kills them. It is a violent, of power. But he's the king. So he should have had the power anyway. And did you catch what he called himself? He changes what he calls himself to this word right here, Tsar. You'll hear people in America say all the time with a hard Z, czar. Yeah, that's not right. That's how we in America change everything for our reasoning. It's a TS sound. Tsar. And you'll often see it spelled that way too, especially in America. You'll see it spelled CZAR, like I did in the notes, or you'll see it spelled TSAR, because that's how it sounds. Tsar. Okay. This is what's considered right, but you will see it both ways. Tsar literally means Caesar. CZAR, Caesar. Okay. Caesar means emperor. He just named himself emperor. Awesome. Good job, kid. But don't you have to actually do something to legally get that term, that name? You have to take over something. So what he's kind of telling his people when he says, call me Tsar, don't call me king, call me emperor. He's also kind of telling people, watch out, because we're fixing to go take over crap. And they are. So now that he is like in control, has the power, he enters his good period of rule. It's kind of scary when you see that a king has a good period and then a bad period. Uh-oh. His good period lasts from 47 to 60. Okay, it's like 13 years. His bad period lasts for a lot longer. Oops. This is where we're at, Russia. You're like, no, that's Europe. Good call, but look, this is the Holy Roman Empire, right? As you move to the east, at this time you have Poland, and then you see this little green thing, Muscovy. It's not Russia yet. It's called Muscovy right now, okay? If we look at this map right here, where did it go? Here it is. Okay, Poland is right here, and Muscovy is originally this kind of purple, dark blue part right here. That was Ivan's kingdom to begin with. Okay, Russia is eventually going to be this entire thing on this map. Well, not Norway or Sweden, Poland, but basically this whole map. But right now, under Ivan, it's just this kind of purpley blue, okay? And Ivan enters his good period. This is Ivan IV. It's a statue of him. We don't have any trustworthy paintings of him from his lifetime. There were artists who did paintings of him shortly after he died, but no good ones. And you'll see why I do this in a minute. No good ones while he's alive. We do have one, though, while he's alive, but it's bad. Here you go. It's like the worst painting I've ever seen in my life. It literally looks like his face is melting. It's like bleh. His eyes are all crooked. His ear, I don't know what that's about. It's just a weird painting. Okay, I mean it's artist rendition. That's not what he looked like. Just go by that, because otherwise, that'll give you nightmares. Although, I mean, his bad period is pretty bad. 16 years old, he takes over, calls himself Tsar, murders some nobles, and then he gets married to the love of his life, Anastasia. Don't you dare call her Anastasia. No, that's not her name. We say names right in this class. Her name is Anastasia. Anastasia. Anastasia is how like we in America have changed it. Anastasia. He marries Anastasia, and pretty quickly they like pop out kids, boys, as a matter of fact. Yeah. The boys are being like trained how to be future kings. Both of them are really well liked, but both of them aren't really like the same caliber as far as which one will be better. The oldest brother is going to be a better king. The younger brother, he just isn't quite as smart. But both boys are being trained to be king. He has a happy life with his wife, and he does something. He does take over land. This right here, let me double check the dates. Okay, I was like, which one is which? That's what I thought. This right here, let me make it big, okay, is where he starts out. That's his kingdom to begin with. Then he moves south and he takes over this. Then he moves north and he takes over this. Now this is Russia. That's pretty big. It's still not as big as Russia will be, obviously, but that's pretty big. He's able to conquer that. Impressive. Is he legally a Tsar now? Uh-huh. He also does something else, which the peasants and the middle class love. They love Ivan. At first, the nobles hate him. The nobles hate him because he took power away from them when he took power, when he became like what he's supposed to be, king. Yeah, he took their power away. But he also does something else. On here, it says he rules with a fair law code. You have to think like we're not talking fair laws like we have today. Okay? We're talking fair laws like whatever punishments are happening to peasants, they're going to happen to the nobles too. Whatever is illegal for a peasant, it's illegal for a noble too. See, a lot of kings, like if a noble did something illegal, they were just like, don't do it again, bad boy. But then if the peasants did the exact same thing, they were, what's the word? Tortured. I was about to say abused. I mean, I guess that's true. But they were tortured and all kinds of stuff. And Ivan's like, no. Whatever punishments we do with the peasants, that's what you nobles are going to get too. This is Ivan's way of having control of his nobles. And there's a painting like where it shows his nobles aren't overly happy about it. Look at this painting. I put my head over here. You have Ivan sitting here. Now, he's older, obviously, but you still see his nobles are ticked off. Here's Ivan. Look at his nobles. Uh-oh. These guys are like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Just know that Ivan's going to have issues with his nobility his entire rule, okay? But things are going good for him. Where's my notes? There it is. Things are going good. Things are nice and happy with his personal life. And then all of a sudden, something happens. Look right here. The death of Anastasia. We today don't know what caused her death. Still, it is assumed that she was poisoned by nobility. Do we know that? She could have died of a heart attack or something. I mean, she was young, so that would have been weird, but it's possible. But we don't know. She dies mysteriously, and Ivan jumps to the same assumption. He assumes that the nobles poisoned her or had her poisoned by somebody. Okay? That was their way of like getting back at Ivan. Kills the love of his life. And at that point, Ivan just snaps. That's when he goes into his bad period. It's for the rest of his life. He sets up a secret police. The Russian secret police is a big deal. Later in the Cold War, it's a big deal. But it kind of starts here. And he sets up this secret police, kind of trying to listen for the nobles if they're talking about anything, so he can try and figure out exactly who it is that killed her. But of course, it moves from just trying to be a way for him to figure out who killed her into I'm going to listen to anything they're doing. Anything. If they say anything about my kids or me or the laws or whatever, they're dead. And the scary thing about his secret police is this. At first, secret police members could have been anybody. Some of them were middle class. Some of them were low nobles. Some of them were peasants. Some of them were women. Some of them were children. He's literally trying to find people that you would never suspect. And here's what's really scary. At first, they didn't know who the other secret police were. So in theory, you could be a secret police member talking crap about Ivan, and I could be a secret police member, and I can rat you out. I can be like, dude, that guy's talking about you. And Ivan's like, what? He's one of my secret police. Kill him. At first, they don't know about each other. And this kind of starts getting out of hand. Because eventually it turns into I don't like that person. So since I don't like that person, I'm going to tell Ivan that they're being bad. They're going to start killing thousands of people with his secret police. Thousands are dying. Tons and tons and tons and tons. Why? Are they really enemies of Russia? No, no. It's kind of just I don't like that person, so let's get rid of him. Ivan kind of loses his mind, kind of goes crazy. And it's during this time period that he gets the nickname that he's still known by today, which personally, this is total opinion, take it or leave it. I think it's sad that this is how he's known, Ivan the Terrible. Did he do bad things? Yeah. Was his secret police bad? Yeah. Did he do some good too? Guys, remember, everybody has good and bad aspects. So it's kind of sad to me that he's remembered as Ivan the Terrible, but he is, whatever. Part of the reason for that is because of this. Look right here. His oldest son is going to die by his hand. His son's daughter, I'm trying to think of the story, she miscarried after he kicked her or something. She was pregnant and she had a miscarriage after he kicked her. And he kicked her because he felt like she was dressed too scandalously for something that they were doing. He just kind of loses his mind. His oldest son ends up dead, leaving who to rule? The youngest son, the one who really shouldn't be king. People like him. He's a likable guy. But is he going to be best as king? No. Look at some of these pictures. This is probably the most famous painting of Ivan IV. It's done later after his life, so again, it's not accurate, but this is his Ivan the Terrible stage. He does look a little bit horrifying. Like, you don't want to run into that dude in a dark alley somewhere. Do you? I don't know. I don't. The death of his son, it's a little picture. Well, it's okay. There's multiple stories about it. I read one story one time. In fact, what I was originally taught was that he was pushed out of a window. And then in another book later, Ivan like hit him on the head with something or something. And that's what this painting is showing you. Like a tapestry rod. Tapestries are like big curtains on a wall, basically. And that's the other story. So I don't know. But regardless, that's what this is showing you, is he's like hit on the head. And Ivan's like he gets angry and he kills his son. But it's not like he's like, ha, take that, sucker. No, he's sad. He's upset that his son is dead. That's what this painting is showing you. And what's crazy about this painting, the artist who did this, his face. When you look up close at Ivan's face, now this is just the artist's rendition. It's not accurate to what he really looked like. We don't know, but it's really cool. Look at Ivan's eyes. He's horrified by what he's done. He's crazy. He's losing his mind. I don't know, it's really sad. Look at this little detail that he put in his son. This is analyzing art. Do you see that little tear? Regardless, son's dead. Younger son takes over. For about 100 years, the Russian kings, they're not that strong. They're no big deal. Who cares? Then we get to Peter. I'm not going to talk a ton about Peter because honestly, he's your next DBQ. But I love Peter. This is Peter the Great. Peter the Great. I can't remember. He was like 6'8" or something, like tall. He's huge, humongous. And for today, that's huge. But back then, that was like unheard of. Even for Russians who tend to be taller. They're just huge. But this is Peter the Great. Okay? When you analyze this painting, you look close at it. This painting tells you a whole lot about Peter. Why do you think it has a map? Is he going somewhere? Why do you think he has a sword? And a cannon? I wonder if Russia might be one of those gunpowder empires. Oops. Why is he wearing a military outfit? This painting tells you a lot. Because look, this is Russia under Ivan, this light green, okay? If you look over here at this, right here, is Peter a Tsar also? And I'm not going to tell you a lot because I want you to get the information from the documents in the DBQ. But look at this. Peter does go somewhere dressed like that, not dressed like this, because he doesn't want people to know that he's the king. So he actually dresses like a peasant. He actually takes some peasants with him on his trip when he goes to the West, when he goes to the Holy Roman Empire, when he goes to visit France, when he goes to visit England. Interesting. He lives with the peasants. Well, only on his trip, okay? As soon as he gets back to Russia, oh, he lives in the palace. Speaking of palaces, he has a pretty impressive palace. Yeah, I thought it was in your documents. It's called Peterhof, Peter's Palace. It's very impressive. You'll see it soon. And he builds a city called St. Petersburg. It's right here, way up here. Like you have Finland right here, and it's like boom, right there. Wait, Sweden, right? Finland. And it's like boom, right there. Peter's cool. But I'm not going to tell you anything else. You do have enough to do context on a Peter the Eighth, Peter the Great DBQ, and that is coming. Yay, we love DBQs. Woo! Okay, that's the Louis XIV of France is tomorrow. Bye.